evening, SRA Nation, and welcome to Season 12.
Today is going to be a new challenge, aside from being sand for. We're racing on the surface of the sun, apparently.
Heading down towards the main start line.
Maximizing that track just behind. That's exactly what we were talking about. That one corner. So critical to your lap time. You have to send it. This is the apex curving there by a little bit.
Everybody's now bunched up, and you do not want that.
We wide now at the intersection 1 in the spot you really don't want to, but the fight's not over.
Still there on the inside, and the McLaren's still not going to give the place up.
And we're off and away for SRA.
That is right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sim Racing Alliance GT3 Team Series. This is the finale of Season 13. We are here coming at you live from Valencia with the Division 3 race, Round 8, Season 13. This is going to be an amazing race. So much to talk about. Jumping right into the driver standing page, highlighting the driver at the top of your screen. Mathematically, Selena Boonstra has secured the overall points lead with her drop race of 64 points. She is the winner, D3 Gold Season 8, with just the most amazing string of races. I want to take the time to highlight this. So she started the season Suzuka only P9, just a modest, reasonable, humble P9. Since then, she's gone on an absolute tear. P2, P3, P3, P2, P2, P3. 6 races, 6 podiums. Donovan Colton, and all the time we've been doing this, I haven't seen this kind of domination. I mean, is this, how does she do it?
Yeah, it's funny. Well, in domination without getting that top podium. However, the most important thing is consistency, and consistency Selena has been. I mean, that is extreme consistency to have your drop race, because remember also you get your least points finish dropped,
right?
Be a 9th place, and then the rest of them being podiums, basically. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So yeah, I'm excited to see what she's gonna do tonight, because I think she's still gonna want to get as good of a finish as she can, even though she is technically, won it already.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a victory lap for her. I mean, showing just not only the pure pace, because obviously she's got the pace, but the racecraft, surviving. I mean, lap ones in this league, in this division, have been, we'll say, a bit chaotic. She's survived every single time. She's got the pace. She's got the finishes. It's a beautiful thing to see. Let's take a second to talk about our silver drivers. Appearing on your screen, number 10 and number 12 on your screens right now. We've got Mr. Nitin Murthy and Mr. Jay Queasy. Now, Jay Queasy is mathematically still in the hunt for the silver overall title. He was a little gloom and doom in the Discord earlier today, but I believe in him. Mr. Jay Queasy, keep an eye on him. I've got my spreadsheet here kind of showing the where he needs to finish in order to maybe steal the silver title from Nitin Murthy, so I'll keep you appraised on that as the race goes. But what we really need to talk about, oops, not the track map, this scene right here. The team series, guys, is insane. We've got 3 teams, Lunar Motorsports, West Coast, Best Coast, and D5 Misplacements, all within 50 points. The drop race points get a little weird, but 3 teams within 50 points. And I don't know about you, Mr. Morgan, but sitting in P3, Amos Movo and Sean Leach, based off of how dominant Amos Movo has been, winning the past 3 races, all 3 in a row, I feel he's got to be the favorite coming in.
Oh yeah, definitely got to be a favorite for winning this race again. I mean, 3 in a row is insane. He's shown an insane amount of pace. Of course, I wasn't able to be here with you guys for the past few races, but I remember how dominant he was in that one race I was there for. And assuming he's continuing that, I mean, it's absolutely has to be the favorite to win. And But of course, with those drop points, there is a massive question about whether or not he's that dominance will be enough to try to secure his team the championship.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I want to point out too, though, is Leech is looking quick here as well. Both Movo and Leech in the practice times are on the top of the leaderboard for D3. They both have the first and second fastest times. So definitely, you know, I'm looking out for those guys in the Ferrari there. I think it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Our other team, of course, spending a little bit of time on the West Coast, Best Coast team, Zipperburn and Sutherland. Sutherland has had his race wins. He's had his good finishes. I was going to ask you, Donovan, being the Mustang driver, I've heard rumblings that maybe Valencia not the best track for the Ford Mustang.
Well, it does have a negative ballast here. If that tells you,
that's
if
a clue.
Mustang has a negative ballast, it's probably not great. You know, it doesn't feel terrible. There's not much turn in. You know, that car is a bit of a truck, you know, to turn in. So yeah, it's a bit tricky. It's especially in sector 2. I mean, sector 2 is definitely its weak point. But the sectors are a little bit off on that track map. Sector 2 doesn't start until after turn 5. But anyway, it's a bit tough to get that thing turned in at a lot of these tracks. I mean turns, but you know, it's not terrible. I mean the second, tied for the fastest time in D1 was set by a Mustang. So I mean,
okay,
it's
can't
still,
be that bad.
It's still a capable car here. It's just it might struggle a little bit next to the mid-engine cars.
Indeed. So, clicking over to our race scene, we are live for qualifying. Our silver drivers are out on track on their out lap, just getting the tires warmed up, the brake discs heated up. They'll be going live for their first qualifying lap soon. We are on board with Mr. Richie Wood, who I wanted to spend a moment, give a special shout out. He is officially, at this time, confirmed your Season 13 Sweatshop winner. He has put in the most laps of all drivers this season. At the time I last checked, he had 3,200 laps. That was yesterday. He's probably got more by now. This man is just an absolute machine in the practice servers. Right? Coming over the line here, starting his first flying lap, Mr. Richie Wood of the Lamborghini Raiders. 3,000 laps? That's a lot of laps.
That's
it's
so many laps. I'm just thinking, my D6 brain cannot comprehend that amount of laps. I mean, I'm the guy who doesn't practice until the day of the race, and of course, I've paid for that. But still, that's a lot of laps.
Well, he got a new triple ultra wide setup this season, so I think he's just been really making sure it's nice and broken in.
Broken in. That's a good way to put it. So, I mean, hey, and, you know, call me crazy, but some of the tracks this season on this calendar have been just amazing. You know, Suzuka, Watkins, Misano, you know, maybe not Zolder, maybe not Olton, but Valencia here, you know, if you're a gamer, if you love racing, if you love driving, you know, hey, 3,000 laps, that's light work. I do this for fun.
Yeah, and all these, I think... Yeah, besides maybe Zolder. I mean, for me, Olton, I know some people like Olton, or at least for hot lapping. But, I mean, all of these are also very good hot lapping tracks. So, yeah, it looks like we're getting our first push laps in.
Yep.
And, you know, one thing I want to talk about, as Jacob Hall basically just
invalidates his second
demonstrated
lap.
Was invalidations. That is going to be a major thing here, I think. I mean, when you look at like so many of the practice sessions, like the valid lap to invalid ratio is just absolutely insane. It is really easy to invalidate here when you're pushing for a quali lap.
Yep, track limits are going to be a topic of conversation all night. That exit of turn 1 there that you see with Jacob Hall. So most, outside track limits in the game, they give you all the way up to the red and white painted curb. This track, I think, is the one and only exception to that, where it is the outside of the painted green area. If you exceed that on the outside of turn 1, that's where the track limit is. So you're going to see some, I think everybody will see taking some huge liberties with the track limits on this. There's a lot of other pitfalls. I mean, outside of turn 4 can be tricky. I've lost a lot of laps there. Outside of the last turn.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah. There's definitely a couple. Turn 6 is another one, at least for me, in the truck that is the Mustang. But yeah, it feels like, I mean, and you really need to push the track limits on this track. That's where you gain a lot of time, but then obviously you can lose it, just if you go, a pixel too far over, and it could be a little frustrating sometimes. Yeah, it's definitely interesting to try to push your luck with that and see how far you could get. That's definitely something that helps when in your practice you could really learn the track limits.
Yeah. So looking up the board, we've got a valid lap in here from Mr. Jason Yaron, the number 545 driver on track in the Holiday Inn Ferrari 488, a 131.147. I believe, correct me if I'm mistaken, one of the Yaron brothers, perhaps Jeremy Yaron, was our top silver driver on the practice leaderboards, but both Jason and Jeremy Yarons had deep into the 30s practice laps. I'm expecting a very strong performance out of both of the Yaron brothers this race.
Yeah, I think Jason's the silver driver and Jeremy's gold.
Wait, they split them up like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Keith.
Okay.
Team, though.
They are on the
They are, yeah, of course. I can't imagine them on a different team
be...
or in a different car than the 488. That would be...
Fair enough. My bad.
Sacrilege.
Okay, so Jason Yaron, the top silver driver then. Okay, that clarifies things for me.
Yeah, but they are third and fourth, so they're quick.
Yep.
It makes two different Ferraris locking out. You got the two different Ferrari teams and two different Ferraris taking the number 1 and 2 spots. As far as teams go, because you got
it's kind of interesting.
You got the D5 reject in the Ferrari 296 taking 1-2, and then you got Holiday. And they're in the 488 taking 3-4.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to see that the old car still has some relevance. Thank you to our SRA BOP overlords. Jason Yaron, the exit of turn 1 was pixel perfect, getting right up to the track limits. He loses a bit of time on the Delta in turn 2, but still 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in this qualifying session. Plenty of time for more valid laps. Let's click back up to Mr. Pablo Ferrer, who, as he navigates his way through that aforementioned tricky Sector 2 up through this kink, you gotta watch out for the bumps on the outside there. Well up on his Delta, 3/10 up, and if he can navigate this final turn well, and indeed he does, so he will jump up ahead of Mr. Curtis Adams. Boom, there we go. Our first lap, actually, in the 130 is a 130.740. Fantastic time out of Pablo Ferrer.
That's an amazing time. That's faster than Movo's practice time.
Ooh. That's faster than his own practice time.
Ooh. Yeah, that's way faster than his own practice time.
3/10 PB, I do believe.
PB's in live quali. We've got that clutch muscle. Pablo Ferrer.
Yeah, that's a fantastic lap. That's great.
Yeah, that's it's not quite fast enough to go D1, but it's definitely on the upper end of D2.
Yeah,
when we're looking at the reference
faster
times.
than my practice time.
Oh no! Oh no, Pablo Ferrer making it look easy. Connor Adams, so still sitting in P2, but it looks like a little bit of traffic ahead. He's down on his Delta. He'll have time for one more lap. I want to see him build a little bit of a gap here. He's got the number 480 car and the number... Well, oh, he's got a Porsche that bailed out ahead of him. Okay, so that should clear the way. Connor Adams, as he comes around this final turn here, he'll have one more stab at stealing provisional pole away from Pablo Ferrer. Looking elsewhere on the board, Richie Wood on for a slight improvement. Well, he was about a 10th up, lost it through that tricky right-hand kink. He'll have time for one more lap as well. Nitin Murthy, our aforementioned silver championship leader, he currently has a 131.585 on the board, but multiple tenths up on the delta. Gonna stay on board to see if he can hold this lap together. Looking good through that first left-hand hairpin, getting it slowed right down. Good late apex for that second right-hand hairpin, and if he can hold this together, should see a little bit of a jump up the board. Oh, that Mercedes looking good over the bump.
Yeah.
I know my car just gets absolutely tossed by that little bit of a curve on the outside.
I would be in the barrier.
Yep.
If I hit that in the McLaren, I'm dead.
Oh, so well done. So Murthy not going to be enough to steal pole, but 4.5 tenths up on the delta will see him up into P4 on his last flying lap. A 131.122. Well done, Mr. Nitin Murthy. His direct competition, Jay Queasy, back in the garage in 11th place, 131.965. We got to take a look, though. Jacob Hall, as he exits the final turn, about a 10.5 up on the delta. Won't be enough for pole, but will be enough to pip Connor Adams. P2 for Jacob Hall. Well done to him. Got GB3 still out on a valid flying lap. Couple tenths up as well. Doesn't get the best drive out of the final corner, seeing all of those gains melt away, but it will still potentially be enough to not jump up into P7.
Close.
Our last silver driver to set a valid lap, Chris Sweeney, currently P13, improves up to P12. All right, so well done to our silver
Still got
field.
one of the Aaron brothers, I do believe. Oh, nope. Went to the pits.
Nope. So Pablo Ferrer, 130.740, the mark to beat for our gold drivers. Amos Movo leaving the pits a little bit at the back of the field. That's okay. He's confident. He doesn't need that many laps. He is, like you guys mentioned, the top time on the practice leaderboards. Amos Movo, once again, the favorite coming into this race. I said it last race. I'm going to say it again. This man works hard. Not only does he put in the laps, but he puts it in with, like, how would I say, the proper, I don't know, accompaniment. He consults with the fast drivers. He learns from his coaches. He knows how to put in good focused practice, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And he looks at data. He is extremely analytical with, getting his improvements and seeing what he needs to do, like to the point of, where he came out of there on the, to start his qualifying, I could almost guarantee was calculated and had a reason. And
wait, he came out late on purpose?
Time that he does that. It's different for every track, but he calculates it, and he calculates it well. You see a lot of times he's the last car putting in his lap, and it's all planned out. So yeah, he's good at doing this. I mean, there's definitely a reason that he has been so dominant the last 3 races. I mean, he wasn't super dominant last race. We had actually quite an exciting battle, between him and Sullivan. So it wasn't easy for him last race, but yeah, no, it's definitely he puts in the work. He puts in the time for sure.
So in the meantime, his teammate Sean Leach, on his banker lap, mind you, his first lap out, didn't even have full temperature in his tires. A 130.747 for Sean Leach. Already provisional P2. He invalidated on that turn right there. He had a little bit of traffic ahead. That's okay. He's got time for, I'm going to say, at least 4 or 5 more laps. But Sean Leach, 130.747 on his banker lap. How does he do it?
Yeah, that's impressive from a first lap. That's really impressive.
Really close to his PB as well, because if like his
That's
PB
better,
on the
isn't it?
practice, 0.7. His PB is a 0.65.
Okay, so within a tenth then,
Oh,
basically, of his PB ever on this track. Does it when his tires were probably in the mid 26s. Our other, of course, got to spend some time looking at this beautiful pink Porsche. Still says number 25 on the side of it. This is our number 7 driver, Selena Boonstra. She put in a first banker lap of a 131.5, 0.2 up on that. We'll see her jump a couple steps up on the leaderboard into P9. Amos Movo, his banker lap, a 131.45. We had Wilder Vargas of the TC8 Racing team jumping up into 8th place. In the meantime, hoping to join his teammate Pablo Ferrer on the front row of the grid. 4 minutes and 55 seconds left with which to do it. Through the first 2 turns alone, already a 1/10.5 up on his delta. Wilder Vargas on a charge here.
I saw on the exit of the first corner, he looked like he was on the edge of validating, but it's still
Super
valid.
close. It's still valid. He's still in there. Losing a little bit of time through those last couple turns of Sector 1. Still on for an improvement, so we'll stay on board with him to see how he manages these tricky back-to-back hairpins that really... This is a demanding track, I feel, in terms of setting up the car. Because not only do you need to be able to chuck it in high-speed turn 1, but getting it slowed down, getting it rotated through these hairpins here, you have to be able to do both on this track.
I think
Yeah,
I
I
say
remember-
that Vargas loses time on the second hairpin.
Yep.
yeah, I saw he went a little bit deep. I heard from somebody, I don't even remember who it was now, which makes me feel a little bad because it helped me out a ton, which was just you need to understand how to go around this track on a motorcycle to understand how to go around fast in a car, because this was a track designed for motorcycles ultimately.
True.
And how
Interesting.
they set up for their turns, can really help you with the car, because it certainly, a lot of these entries is, and motorcycles tend to, or at least from what I understand, I've never driven any sort of motorcycles like ever, so I could be totally wrong. But in my research, it really helps to, with coasting and, letting, the bike come to you within the turn, which doing that in a car is, typically, on this one, on like being careful on your brakes and when you're letting off on your brakes, and is where you get so much lap time and so much. And that's why, for me, I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but for me on this track, like sometimes you could just all of a sudden gain or lose time and you didn't really understand what it was that you did, but you're gaining, or losing like 2 or 3 tenths sometimes on one turn. And I've found, that's all within the braking or coasting. Even this is a track where coasting is actually can be very helpful for your lap time.
Yeah, no, fair. So fair point. So as someone who has ridden a motorcycle, not super fast, but fast enough that I was scared for my life. So trail braking in a GT3 car, you think, okay, I'm going to drag my brakes into this turn, it's going to help rotation. That's really not a thing on a motorcycle. You're right, where it's I'm on the brakes and then I got to get off the brakes in order to turn the bike, otherwise the front's going to wash out and I'm going to look like an idiot. And that's interesting that you say that, because there are points here on this track where you do have to, it's like I do my braking, then I get off the braking, and then I turn the car in. Not something that I'm used to doing on other tracks on this game.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. And the other track that's similar to me, at least, is Misano. And Misano also was designed to be a motorcycle track before for sports cars. So So I guess it makes sense that, you know, they both have similar characteristics.
Yep. So as we're getting down into the final moments of this qualifying session, checking in on our championship teams. So Jess Osborne here of the Lunar Motorsports Comic Racing team, P18 currently 3/10 up on his Delta. If he can hold this together, bumpy through the quick left-hander, quick right-left. He lost about a 1/10.5. Oh, okay, so I'm sorry. So a little bit of a commentator's curse. He was 3/10 up. He still has about a 1/10. He'll see a couple positions of improvement up into P18 only, but time for one more lap. Looking ahead, we have Zipper Burn on track P17. We've got Sutherland P12 and appears to have he invalidated his final attempt. So P12, P13, P14 is all that Sutherland will be able to manage. Boonstra currently P5 on her final flying lap, but again, the final team in the standings, the underdogs, D5 misplacements. Sean Leach back to the garage, P2, the best that he can manage. Amos Movo still out on track on his final flying lap. Currently P3, small improvement on the Delta. If he can hold this together, maybe a small jump up the leaderboards. This is looking, at this time, really good for the D5 misplacements team. This is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And also what's crazy is that Ferrer, the silver driver, still has
He's
the
still
top
there.
spot.
And Amos
I was about to
Movo
say the same
loses
thing.
it. Amos Movo loses that small gain through that tricky third sector, and he's bailed out. That's it. P3 at best for Amos Movo. So it's down then to our Lunar Motorsports Comic Racing team, Jess Osborne, holding it together, losing a bit of time on the Delta out of the final turn. Will we see any sort of improvement at all? He will get ahead of Zipper Burn, who is himself on his final flying lap, but P19 at best for Jez Osborne. That's a huge shakeup. Zipper Burn doing well into the brakes for this final turn, well out onto the outside curb, maximizing the track limits, out onto the outside, he was looking pretty good, but only about a 0.5 of improvement, not enough to even regain P19 from Osborne. So Dick Zipperburn and Neil Sutherland, P14 and P20. Selena Boonstra and Jess Osborne, P5 and P19. Sean Leach and Amos Movo in the driver's seat for this team championship. Pablo Ferrer, TC8. What an amazing result.
Absolutely.
Insane.
Insane. Okay, so before the race starts, we of course have to do our shout outs to our sponsors. Currently on screen, you're looking at our community supporters, sponsors, and title sponsors. These are the men and women of the community who chip in a little bit each month to support our team here at the Sim Racing Alliance. Kicking it over now to Jay Queasy for the sponsor read.
A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favourite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT 3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specializing in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more.
All right, so thank you very much one last time, Jake Queasy, for the sponsor read, doing all of the words so that we don't have to. This is normally the part in the stream where we go through the grid and highlight, for the last time, mind you, all of our beautiful liveries, but as you guys at home can see, this is a night race. This is going to be a tricky one for our drivers, extra hard to spot all of their braking points, and extra hard for all of us at home to appreciate the amazing graphics design work that all of our teams have done this season. One of my personal favorites, you see it on your screen right now, the Blockbuster Mustang. Not really able to appreciate the chrome silver in all of its glory, but still, the work that these guys put in is much appreciated.
Yeah, there's some great liveries for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a bit more difficult to see, you know, especially because this track does not have any track lights. So yeah, it'll be a dark one. Turn 1, spotting your braking marker. I mean, that's a hard turn to spot your braking marker in the daylight. That's gonna be hard at night. That's for sure.
The one thing they can be thankful for is that it's not wet.
Ah,
That's true.
thank goodness. Jake
Look
Queasy
at
on
that.
your screen here, the aggressive tire warming. This man must have driven a go-kart at some point in time, because that is...
It's just controller things.
Being able to just jerk that stick right around. Jake Queasy on stream, that beautiful British voice that you heard in your ear a moment ago. Queasy Racing P25 on the grid. So maybe not the qualifying result that he wanted. Nitin Murthy, his prime opponent, currently sitting P8 on the grid. And if things finish as they are now, Nitin Murthy P8 would lock it up for the silver title. As we come around onto the start-finish straight, our drivers approaching the start-finish line. Pablo Ferrer leading us away. Sean Leitch a little far back in his starting box, vulnerable to Jacob Holland, the BMW behind. Boonstra looking to make it 3 wide into the braking zone of turn 1, past Hall. Sean Leitch is through safely, side by side, Movo and Boonstra.
Boonstra gets Movo there.
Makes the
2
overtake.
passes in 1 turn. That was
amazing race start from our overall D3 championship winner, showing us why she is going to be doing a shoey after this season. Well done on the start. Got Jeremy Yaren losing a position or 2 on the start, down into P7. His brother Jason right behind P9. Nitin Murthy lost a couple spots on the start, showing P10 on screen currently. It looks like, though, everybody doing well to survive thus far. No big incidents. Sean Leitch right up behind. Sean Leitch. One more time. Sean Leitch still hanging out P2 right behind Pablo Ferrer. Our drivers doing a good job of keeping it single file through this first lap, making sure everybody does a good job. Spot your braking marker. You're full on fuel, so you can't go too deep. On the outside of that turn would be a little dangerous. Side by side, Wilder Vargas losing out to Neil Sutherland, vulnerable to Osborne. as they come into this final braking zone. Derek Stack looking to make it 3 wide around the outside. But both drivers, Osborne and Stack, wisely backing off. Vargas lives to fight another day. That's P16.
3 wide again. These Mustangs making things 3 wide as Zipper Bird. It looks like he's going to have the inside over Jess.
Over Osborne, yeah. So now Stack from Zipper Bird from Osborne. Is he looking to overtake Stack? No, okay.
No. That would be
that would be too much.
Nuts. It's hard to get a run into the hairpin. It's almost you have to capitalize off of a mistake from turn 1.
Sutherland here right up behind Vasquez. Oh, Vargas right up on his tail in the braking zone, doing well to avoid a collision here. Vasquez, of course, our lone Audi representative, so you have to give him extra love. Our first week winner under.
Whoa.
Making the move on GB3 into the first left-hand hairpin. Well, wow, he just had a great run.
That was
on the back straight.
Very aggressive on the brakes and able to make that stick. Yeah, that was an impressive pass there. That's not an easy spot to get a run on there.
So looking up ahead, Boonstra putting the pressure on Leach right up on his tail as they come around the final corner to finish this second lap. Still Ferrer from Leach, from Boonstra, from Movo. Ferrer putting in a bit of a gap, 7/10 already over Leach in P2, looking to make a break with this race. Sullivan looking up the inside of
Jeremy Yarn.
Wow.
That was terrifying.
Sullivan in Yaron sandwich right now. P7, 8, and 9 on track. Looking racy on this third lap. 56 minutes left in this race, guys. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, that was awfully close between those. Yeah, these are. I didn't think, after last week, me being an OBDA driver myself and having OBDA drivers fighting super close on track, I was looking for a little bit of a break from that. I don't think we're getting a break from that tonight.
Oh, so action up ahead. We've got Boonstra side by side with Movo, who tried to make a move into the first left-hand hairpin. Selena with the advantage into the right regains and retains third place. But Movo looking to get ahead and perhaps run a little bit of interference for his teammate Leach. Take some pressure off of him so that he can run away with a quick P2. The gap from P1 to P2 still about 7/10. Leach keeping it close with Ferrer. These helicopter camera angles a little close up. Hard to see the other drivers around. Looking down the field, we've got some action at the back of the grid. We've got Cortez side by side with a Porsche of, is that Pat Cockcroft?
I believe it is Pat Cockcroft.
Yeah. Okay, so good racing all the way up and down the grid. We'll keep an eye on all of that as this race progresses. Vasquez still P13, but under pressure from Neil Sutherland, looking to make some improvements. Vasquez himself right up behind Neil McCumber. Good to see that headless camo Porsche looking racy as ever. Currently sitting P12 right behind our sweatshop winner, Richie Wood. A little bit of action on track. We had some action, so this is all on
Connor
Adams.
Got passed.
Yeah, so let's see if we can catch this on the replay. Jacob Hall looks like he's just got a bad exit out of that left-hander. Connor Adams able to get the overlap into the braking zone of that left-hand hairpin, getting it done. That's Connor Adams P5 in this race. Well done to him. A huge gap, though, because of that action. From P4, Amos Movo, back to P5, Connor Adams, 3.5 seconds. This lead group is absolutely running away with this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And Movo's going to be wanting that. Same with Leach, because that way Movo can fight Selena and not have quite as much of a consequence for it.
Murthy, for a second there, looking like he was trying to get himself into the Aaron sandwich, but wisely backs off into the braking zone of turn 1, settling for the moment for P10. Still Hall right up behind Adams, not going down without a fight. Got Vasquez still right up behind McCumber. Lots of close battles on track. Gonna try to catch any overtakes as they happen, but this track, guys, just personal experience. I don't know if you guys' experience would align. Not the easiest track to overtake on, you know, if there's not a bunch of traffic kind of slowing down the guy behind you, or if, you know, in the case of Hall, if the guy ahead of you doesn't make a mistake and allows you that overtake.
Yeah, for sure. This is a track where I've had really good battles though, so it you know, maybe isn't super easy to overtake, but there's some really good battles. Well, Derek Stack really late to get on throttle there. Zipperburn was hoping he could get an over-under, I think, on Derek Stack, but Derek Stack, yeah, not allowing that, and really being patient to get on the throttle, making Zipperburn kind of check up behind.
Ooh, a drive-through penalty on screen already. Sully, P8.
Sullivan.
I mean, that's 5 laps into this race. He's already gotten 4.
He
off
said he was
tracks.
going to do it.
Side by side, Sutherland trying to make the move on Vasquez into turn 2.
It's gonna make it.
Oh, action ahead! What happened? That's Yaron and
That was
Murthy.
one of the Yarons and Murthy, yeah.
Murthy.
So that's out of turn 1. Murthy with a huge
Jason.
overspeed on Jason into the braking zone. Jason attempting the cutback and just not enough room to make it happen. Murthy and Aaron.
And then Murthy gets hit by, is that Schmitzer? I think that was Schmitzer. Oh, this is terrible
what happened?
for Murthy.
So I was looking at race control. I have to see this replay for myself. What happened with Murthy? So yeah, the Aston behind, Schmitzer just
too late on the brakes.
deep on the brakes. This
What
has
a domino effect.
Yeah.
This has huge implications. So Murthy, you see on your screen, it shows. There we go. As we cross these timings lines, we'll update P31 for the Champion Motorsports car of Nitin Murthy. You imagine he's got a fair bit of damage and will need to pit. Jumping up ahead to Mr. Jay Queasy. Perhaps an opportunity.
This is everything for Queasy. This is the exact opportunity he needs in order to try to do this. Now, he's got positions to make up. Murthy still has the championship mathematically right now. But
Yeah,
if
well, so-
Queasy can...
I mean, okay, so sorry. So just to consult the spreadsheet. So based off of the gap, based off of the drop points, what the spreadsheet is telling me is that to even be in the conversation, Mr. Jay Queasy needs to finish at least 9th. I'm sorry, 8th. If he finishes 9th or lower, it's over. So yes, Nitin Murthy is having just an abysmal race. It has to be said. He's not doing so hot. But Jay Queasy currently sitting P19. It's not enough. We need to see a little bit of action. I don't know how he's going to get it done, but I believe in our commentary overlord, Jay Queasy, he needs, according to my sheet, at least P8. And then with a P28 from Murthy, then it would be a Queasy win. We'll get there. We got a lot of time. We saw a driver return to pit.
Yeah, GB3.
Is that GB3?
We missed what happened. That was at the inside of
No, that
turn
was somebody
1.
else. That was the 3... It was like the 311 or 331 car, but somebody...
That might have been... I saw a 231, which I think is GB3.
Well,
which,
he's obviously been in the pits for at least 20 seconds on that replay. There was...
Oh, yeah. I just saw a yellow, I guess, at turn 1 for him.
No, there was the yellow. Somebody returned to garage and then just instantly left the server. Maybe have to check the YouTube replay to see what...
Yeah.
As we've got some side-by-side action here, this is Sutherland on Wood, a battle for P8 and 9 on track. Wood will have the advantage going into turn 4.
Super narrow going into turn 4, which is going to bring Sutherland back to the other drivers.
That's
and
McCumber
now.
Ooh.
Yeah, feeling racy. Whoa. Sutherland, what a dive.
Oh, Wood getting bullied right now. A little bit of trading paint on the outside of that turn, and that's giving Zipperburn the run on Wood. Will he be able to make it happen into the braking zone? We've got a yellow flag on track. That's number 77, Russell Allen, on the outside. We're going to stay on board with this battle, though, because Zipperburn and Wood still side by side. Oh, Wood is way too deep.
Wood just goes extremely
And Stack
deep.
hits Zipperburn.
Oh, Stack hits Zipperburn.
Gee,
Oh, wow.
it's a disaster. So Wood got past Sutherland, but Stack and Zipperburn will be dropping to P14 and 15 respectively. McCumber getting up to P9 and all of that. P19, that's Wilder Vargas dropping down the timing sheets. There we go. Want to go back and find what happened to him. This is in the braking zone of the last turn, side by side, and just... Oh no, was that...
Wood.
Is that Wood?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that was Wood.
So that's Richie Wood, got the nose of a McLaren right up the back of his tailpipe, manages to hang on. He's still... We've got more yellow flags. That's the 240 car and the 42 car of...
and Rene Oki, and is that Zipperburn back? Yeah, that's Zipperburn back.
So we've got drama for DJ Watts. He's got support in the chat, but into T1, he wiped out Christian Holmes into the braking zone, doing the gentlemanly thing of waiting and letting the Mercedes back by. But oh my goodness, 15 minutes down in this race, and it's all kicking off, boys.
Everything happened on that lap. That was...
I tell you, who the big winner of all this is, though. Jess Osborne, up to P10 now.
P10 for
huge,
Osborne.
yeah.
That's big for the team championship.
And that is massive. I was doing the math while you guys were talking about all the chaos. Assuming that the top 4...
Oh, you hate to see it. Panzo Rigatoni, the fan favorite.
The most unlucky season.
Oh no. Down into P29. P last on track, Panzo Rigatoni. That's okay. Still plenty of time. I think we've got a calm moment where we can check back in. Our race leader, Pablo Ferrer, still a 1.2 second gap over Sean Leach. Amos Movo, in all the chaos, was able to get past Boonstra for P3, so that's now a P2 and 3. Both of our D5 misplacement drivers on the podium. Will be frantically updating our spreadsheets. Jake Queasy, in all the chaos, up to P15, so making progress like we said he needed to do. Right behind Wood, who was loose through that turn 5. Queasy potentially with the run. No, not going to make a dive on his British compatriot, Richie Wood, but vulnerable to Vasquez behind, side by side, through the kink leading up into the left-hand hairpin. You have to imagine Vasquez will not back out. He's going for it around the outside. Oh, little touch there on the exit. Flashing the lights, not happy. Schmitzer gets the advantage. Vasquez, oh no. They did make contact on the exit, but perhaps because it was out on the gravel, Vasquez, I'm shocked that he...
That looked like net coding.
Oh, no, that looked like a rage quit is what it looked like. I didn't know how he ended up out on the gravel. Yeah, he just not happy.
I think he just... Yeah. But it was weird from that angle, at least. It looked completely like net code. It looked like they didn't even hit each other.
Yeah, slight contact, but in this game, I don't know, the way this game does collisions, any little bit of contact is pretty devastating.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Cockcroft and Schmitzer side by side going into turn 2. Cockcroft the advantage on the inside. Schmitzer hanging it around. No. Got Jason Yarin behind, looking to take advantage, but not quite enough to make an overlap. That's Vargas looking to the inside. Wisely backs out, living to fight another. Okay, so Boonstra
I really think
still in touch.
that it's worth it to go back to our championship leaders, especially in the
Yes.
team championship, because I just crunched the numbers.
What do you got?
Assuming that the top 4 stay as they are right now, and Jess Osborne does not make up another position,
Okay.
D5 Rejects will win the team championship by 2 points.
Oh.
Oh wow.
Wow.
2 points.
Oh boy.
If either Boonstra or Osborne make up just one position, they will be able to clinch the championship. But it's all down to whether or not either of them can clinch another position, either through strategy or through overtaking.
Well, and so that's so currently on our screens we've got Sean Leach with the fastest lap of the race. Obviously that's going to change after pit stops, but for now he will have that 1 extra point from the fastest lap. I don't know if that helps any in your calculations.
That would make it 3 points.
That would make it 3. Okay.
That is, yeah, that's close. That is really close.
This is coming down to the wire. So yeah, so Sutherland P8, Zipperburn P12. Yeah, not enough out of those guys. E5 misplacement boys looking good in this final race of the season. That beautiful kind of Christmas wrapping paper livery on top of their cars. Kind of contrasting
My favorite
colors.
detail is the D3 slapped over D5.
the D5 on the roof.
My favorite detail.
It's just so great. And of course, with how fast Movo has been going, what's the next sticker going to be? Is it going to be D2, or do you think he might get the boot up to D1 right away?
All the way to D1? That's a jump.
That would be a bit surprising. That would be a bit surprising. My guess is he'll be going to D2. But even, I mean, with the form that Sean Leach has had the last few races too, I'm wondering if he's in for a promotion as well.
I mean, we have drawn, I think, enough comparisons between Movo and Anton Rushevich. I mean, Anton last season, D4. This season, they put him in D2, but he was so fast as Jay Queasy almost hits Richie Wood. Rushevich was so fast, they just said, okay, we got it wrong. You're not D2, you're actually D1. Amos Movo, I feel, is a candidate for the same treatment, to be honest.
Yeah, might get into next season, win a D2 race, and then get moved back up.
Oh, so
Jake
that was so close.
Ooh,
that was so close with
again, Schmitzer.
Again. Oh boy.
Wow. D3 has brought the heat.
Pablo Ferrer.
Yeah, they have.
Oh no!
Ferrer, our race leader.
So on the outside, getting bad drive, Sean Leach side by side through the left-hand kink, and what?
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that could be massive for the championship.
What on
That is an
earth?
interesting contact.
I don't even know how to explain away that incident. I mean, there was
That
at
was
least a
so
little bit of
interesting.
room on the outside.
There was certainly room. Pablo was turning in a lot, but I'm not a steward, so I'm not going to pretend to steward that right now. But that does complicate things. We have seen championships decided in post penalties before. That definitely
D5
shows
last week.
That shows that throws a wrench in things.
Well, and
For
it depending on how the stewards see it, assuming Sean Leach is able to retain this P1 finish, this is a huge boon for our D5 misplacements team. Now, instead of being only 3 points clear of their competition, let's put some 14 points ahead of the Comic Racing Looters Motorsports Porsche team, who are currently sitting still P3 and P10. Pablo Ferrer just, I mean, it's hard to pass judgment. We might have to see 20 different replays from 10 different angles.
I'm looking forward to the stewards report.
But
now.
it just seemed
I
like
am
a
too.
huge turn-in from Ferrer, unnecessarily so. It looked like, from my point of view, it looked like he had room on the outside.
Yeah, I am, and well, and that turn is, not a heavy turn in there.
Yeah.
Typically, I mean, you don't turn in very early there, so I am very curious.
But potentially a bright side, a silver lining to this. So Pablo Ferrer, obviously still out on track. It looked like the contact wasn't too severe, and it looked like it might have been mostly on the side, which in this game doesn't cost you too much aerodynamic performance. He did lose maybe some positions he didn't want to, from P1 to P6, but still out on track, still going fast. Still some potential in this race to pull it back if his car isn't too damaged.
Yeah, it looked like mostly side damage, so my guess is it's not going to be too much. We have Movo and Selena battling pretty hard here.
Boonstra not going down without a fight, right up behind P2 Amos Movo. 37 minutes left in this race, and she now knows, maybe if she's listening to the stream, that she's going to need to make up some positions if her and Jess want to take this team championship. Still some yellow flags on track. We've got the number 945 car, that's Colin Shea, out at the first right-hand hairpin. Come on to the main straight here.
RTGs.
Ah, shame. Yeah, so
No,
that 296 looking fast in a straight line. The Porsche not able to make an overlap despite being well within the slipstream. Oh, chin.
Deep on
Sutherland,
so
the
we got
first to
pitters.
pit. 36 minutes left in this race. Sutherland going for the big undercut. See who else joins him or who has to try to cover off that undercut.
I just did some math, and with Jess Osborne in 10th right now, if Boonstra does overtake Movo, even with all those drivers going up a position, if Boonstra manages to overtake Movo, then they will just barely be clinching the championship by 3 points. But if they can't do that, there's...
Ooh, wow. Yep.
That's close.
That's going to be close.
That is really close. Oh, we got another drive-through. Panzo Rigatoni.
Oh, Panzo, you hate
almost
to come
didn't want
on.
to point it out, but I felt like we needed to.
So, our current race leader, inheriting the position from Pablo Ferrer, Sean Leach, still the fastest lap of the race, 131.722, starting to lose pace. Looking at the last laps of all of our top drivers, Leach coming across the line 132.6, Movo and Boonstra about a 133, so the times are coming down. Sutherland being the first to pit, looking like it's, perhaps for a reason. Perhaps these tires are already starting to go off.
Yeah.
Movo and Boonstra side by side.
Oh.
Ooh.
Everything to play here for Boonstra. This is the team's championship.
And she is
She has
going
to make a
for
move
it.
here.
Ah, so she was out of turn 2 side by side with Movo. Movo able to fight back, retain that position, but this race far from over, and it's actually doing a huge favor for Leach. The gap between P1 and P2 right now, because of Movo needing to go defensive, needing to battle, 3.5 seconds. Leach is... Well,
Yeah.
I'm cutting myself off. I just had a thought. Papaya rules, perhaps.
I was just going to say.
Is Leach
I
anticipating
wonder-
a penalty, and is Movo holding up the field?
I would not be surprised if if that's what they're discussing, and Movo is sacrificing a little bit of his pace to to create a little bit of a gap. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Also wouldn't be surprised if Selena pops in. Nope, she does not come into the pits. I mean, if I'm Selena, I would be wanting to, have nothing to do with this and pop into the pits for sure.
Yeah, so the last lap for Amos Movo, 134.575. Definitely kind of dropping the parachute out on that lap, giving Sean Leach a little bit more breathing room. He's got some blue flag traffic ahead. It's the number 86 car of Pat Cockcroft. Hopefully he'll be able to quickly and respectfully navigate that little bit of a roadblock. We've got Derek Stack right up behind the other Comic Motorsports Porsche of Jess Osborne, who needs to maintain as many positions as he can if he's going to give his teammate any help in this team fight. But man, the rear end of that Porsche looking a little slidey, if I'm being honest. It is a Porsche after all, but perhaps more so than usual. What difficult line there through turn 6.
Yeah, absolutely. That's two very different cars, and so they're going to be taking some of these turns a bit differently. You could definitely get in a lot more turn-in on the Porsche than the Mustang.
So Pablo Ferrer, at one time the leader of this race, has done now his one mandatory pit stop for tires. He's come out on track behind Jacob Hall, who was running, I forget where, because I have the memory of a goldfish. P4. Okay, so if Jacob Hall was P4, so yeah, Pablo Ferrer then, with a little bit of track limits concern, using up one of his speed coupons there, behind Jacob Hall after his one mandatory stop. We'll have to keep an eye on how the rest of the field stacks up. Speaking of stacks, we got Derek Stack into the pit. Of that little segue. Selena Boonstra still right up behind Amos Movo. Traffic ahead.
Movo's got traffic.
That's Sully.
Yeah.
Has done his one mandatory pit stop and is certainly blue flagged to Movo, holding up the possession here. If I'm Movo and my strategy actually was to give my teammate some breathing room, this wouldn't be an unwelcome sight. This is a good excuse to go even slower.
Yeah, this is a fairly organic way for that to happen. But also, I can't help but think these two have to be coming into the pit soon. I mean, usually when you're this close to your competitor and it's this close to the halfway point.
And there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Selena pitting. So let's see if the undercut works. Now that
and in the pits as well.
And our
Leach,
race leader, Sean Leach.
Yeah, I think I mean Movo is going to be hoping to get past Sullivan, but he's got a bunch of cars ahead of him. There's not much that
look at that
Movo
traffic
could do here.
Oh, he has to come into the pits at this lap. This is too much.
Absolutely, and he is under high pressure from Selena. If Selena gets a good pit stop, I mean, this might be pretty challenging for Movo to cover up this undercut.
Yeah. Amos Movo navigating this third sector here. Sean Leach is now down off the air jacks and back out on track.
So
Boonstra
Selena
coming out right behind. So Sean Leach maintains P1. As we get back out on track, we'll have to keep an eye on the gaps. It looks like Selena gained about 2 seconds. Currently on screen, the gap's showing about 1.5 to 2 seconds. Selena Boonstra with that perhaps faster pit stop, now putting huge pressure on Sean Leach. Gonna click right over to my view statistics tab. Yeah, time stopped.
Coming into the pit.
Time stopped.
So
3
Movo
extra seconds.
well.
Okay, fine. Oh, so that's smart. Amos Movo in the pits. Boonstra with the
Wow.
faster stop, making it
Yeah,
happen.
Yeah, that's going to be crucial. It's going to be crucial for Movo to get as good of a stop as he possibly can here.
Getting nicely stopped. We've got Jacob Hall here, provisional P3 on track after stops. So kind of the Boonstra Hall zone of things is where we would expect Amos Movo to come out of the pits, depending on how speedy his pit stop can be. We've got Adams and Osborne in the pits as well. Wood, Yaren, and Murphy still hanging out on track, extending this first stint. Maybe hoping to use a slight tire advantage in the final minutes of this race. So here we go. Jacob Hall coming around the final turn. Movo's
moving
down off the jacks, up into the
Good stop
helicam.
for
There goes
Movo.
Leach, and here comes Boonstra. Amos Movo ahead.
holds it off. However, I don't know if you guys saw what I saw, but it kind of looked like those two tires went over the line on the pit
Well-
exit on the inside.
2 tires is okay. It's only if you go all 4 over you get a warning +5. Otherwise, it's just a warning.
Oh, really? On the
Yes,
inside?
on the inside, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought I misread that then.
Yeah, no, and really, and thinking about it from a competitor's point of view, if you're telling me that the only punishment for going 2 tires over is a half a penalty point, I'm doing it. I'm 100% doing that every single time. I don't care. I'll take the penalty point because it's potentially worth it for the speed, as we see Amos Movo coming out ahead of Selena Boonstra, doing what he needed to do to help his teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like he got a fantastic stop. So that playing out well for Movo. Yeah, that's I would be so worried about a warning +5, coming from from the stewards, with Pitt.
Oh, and Mike Gino checks everybody. He sees everything.
You can't get anything
Nope.
past Gino, that's for sure.
So, Boonstra, oops, wrong cam. Boonstra right up behind Movo. So on that first outlap, Movo with the cold tires, Boonstra not able to make it happen, but into the braking zone of turn 1. Movo going a bit defensive. Will Boonstra be able to get it done into turn 2? Not quite.
Yeah, I'm surprised Movo went so defensive there. That's not a turn I would have expected. Selena, really you can't send it, and you need to be like completely side by side. So
Well over the inside of that turn 6.
yeah,
Really
5.
bumpy, bad drive. And he's doing the slowdown routine. So when Boonstra came out of the pits behind Leach, the gap was 2 seconds. Already the gap from Leach to Movo is back up to 3. Looking to be almost 3.5. Papaya rules.
He has to be careful,
Movo's
though,
doing the
because
thing.
Selena, ooh.
But
Took
Oh
a
my
bit
gosh,
much
this-
curve in there.
but
Yeah, this battle between these two is insane. Yeah, I can't help but think that Movo is being slightly slower on purpose.
taking a look back, quick replay. This is Pablo Ferrer making an overtake on Adams. Ferrer, of course, our pole qualifier, looking to get a little bit of redemption here, getting himself back up into a provisional P5 on screen. Taking the overtake on Adams. Had Jason Yaren coming into the pit, so now only Nitin Murthy, our silver championship leader, is yet to pit. Once he does, we'll be able to update all of our spreadsheets with our current standings. Boonstra on Movo, the gap P1 to P2 still about 3.5 seconds, so Movo doing his job. Got Stack on Cockcroft, relatively close battle on track. In the meantime, we had Sutherland inheriting the fastest lap of the race, so that's 1 less point for our D5 misplacements team. Not sure if it'll matter, but we'll keep an eye on that. Noah McCumber under intense pressure from Sully. This is a battle for P15 and 14 on track. Porsche looking a little sluggish through some of these tricky turns. I mean, we talked about the tricky braking required to get the turn-in nailed, and that left-hander onto the final straight. You know, it's like you do a little bit of turn-in, then you do a little bit of brake, but then you got to get off the brake to do the rest of the turn-in. It's tough to do.
Yeah, it's really tough. Yeah, definitely, you know, want to do as least amount of braking as you could really get by with here and carry as much speed as possible. Speaking of carrying speed, going side by side here. Oh,
there it is.
That is not a turn that you want to go side by side. That's going to leave McCumber relatively close to Richie Wood. This isn't a easy braking zone to send it, so you know nothing's going to happen there. But yeah,
Sully,
a nice
well
pass
done.
there from Sullivan.
Pat Cockcroft here right up behind Jess Osborne. Osborne himself showing P10 on track, but with Nitin Murthy yet to pit, you would imagine that that's going to mean a P9 for Osborne. Stack side by side with Cockcroft, who got held up into turn 2, but with the inside going into this turn 4, surely Cockcroft will be able to retain his position, and he does, but a tight battle here. So this is P10, 11, 12, and 13 on track. Osborne from Cockcroft, from Stack, from Ren Aoki. Good to see him getting back into the mix. Not able to appreciate his livery, looking very dark on this track, but I love to see a BMW on track anyways. That's a fun car to drive. So Nitin Murthy now into the pits. Sean Leach will be back up into P1 overall. Amos Movo crossing the line with our fastest lap of the race, a 131.150, which I think that's faster than 90% of everybody else's qualifying laps.
Yeah, that's a quick lap. I mean, it is definitely cooler temperatures, but this is such a twisty, turny track. I don't know if the cooler temperatures are going to be quite as beneficial as they are at some tracks. Sure, it'll help down the main straight in the first part of Sector 1, I think, but going it side by side into T1, just kind of faking it at least, but that is just so, I mean, that is such a scary turn to do that with, in my opinion.
Wow, so from the front view of Stack, he's got Cockcroft and Osborne ahead, trying to make something happen, but you know, some of these braking zones just not long enough to make it work.
Yeah, Murthy also staying well. No, yeah. So dropping down to P17. Man, it's hard to remember. Or no, yeah, P20.
Well, so right. So Wheezy currently showing P19. Which was about where he was last time we checked in with him and we were talking about the point spread. Again, if Queasy doesn't finish P8 or higher, it's over. Nitin Murthy is your silver championship winner. So despite being down in P20, things are looking up for Mr. Nitin Murthy of the Comic Motorsports Holiday Edition Mercedes-Benz.
I think Polly would freak out a little bit. I think that's Champion Motorsports rather than
Wait, I'm
Comic.
sorry. No, I'm sorry. Did I say Comic? I know it's Champion.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I think sometimes I accidentally say Championship Motorsports, but
Yeah.
But I know better than that. I'm sorry, everybody. I also misspell Columbia from time to time, so I'm doing my best here. Boonstra right up on Movo. Still, the gap from P1 to P2, about 3.5 seconds. So Movo kind of holding formation, holding position, not doing too much to pressure his teammate Sean Leach. Battle rages on. Osborne, Cockcroft, Stacked, and Aoki. Some other cars behind getting involved. This fight is kind of holding everybody up. So Sullivan now close up behind Aoki. McCumber right up behind Sully. Richie Wood P15. This little on-track group from P9 all the way down to P15. Richie Wood, anything can happen. If one driver makes a mistake, you could potentially lose 3, 4, 5 positions. Sully right up behind Aoki.
Yeah. You could just see with those two cars taking that curb so much better than the Porsche.
Sully on the brakes goes for the
into the last
dives.
turn. I even said that was not a place that you typically send a dive in, but Sully making that work. He's going to be fully ahead of Rene Oki going into turn 1.
Making it stick, getting the overlap. So that's now P12. Jack Sullivan, you love to see it.
Yeah, wonderful pass. He's had some great passes this race.
So interestingly, as Movo is kind of holding up the train, Jacob Hall P4 getting involved only about a second now between P3 and P4. Boonstra and Hall, we could see some fireworks for the podium yet if Hall and Pablo Ferrer P5 also lurking in the distance, looking to get back up into those podium positions. Amos Movo is putting himself and Boonstra in a bit of danger here, I feel.
Yeah, well, I think what Movo is going to be wanting to do is for Jacob Hall and Selena Boonstra to start fighting each other and, let him sail off a little bit. And I'm sure that's what he's hoping for in an ideal world. Whoa, a Lamborghini goes off.
Yeah, that's we had a driver being very respectful. Kevin Anderson of the blue flag rules getting well out of the way of our championship and race leaders. So fair play to him. You love to see respectful racing. That's what we do here at the Sim Racing Alliance. Check us out, SRA.gg. We've got a Discord. We've got a great community. We help us each other out with setups and with tips and tricks. Amos Movo, just I can't stop talking about the strides that this man.
Absolutely.
If you look back early on in the season, not a great result at Suzuka. Result week 2 and 3, not a great result at the Nürburgring, but since then, 3 consecutive race wins and on for a P2 now in this final race. Amos Movo, just, you love to see it. Boonstra falling back a bit.
There's quite the train behind Jess Osborne. That is, there's a little bit of a gap between Rene Oki and Sully now,
yeah.
But it's still, that is a tight gap.
8 cars, I think?
A lot of cars. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, from P9 to now P16. Jason Yaron is getting involved right up behind Richie Wood now. Jess Osborne, the conductor of the train, the wing view. Look at the headlights in the distance. This man is being hunted. P9 and doing his best to retain a little bit of a points advantage for the team championship for Pat Cockcroft and Derek Stack. We know Derek Stack is not shy. He will definitely throw it up the inside of you if you make a mistake.
It looks like he's got a really good run on Pat Cockcroft. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything here into turn 1. I say that, but he's trying.
Pat Cockcroft.
He's trying. Pat gives him the space. He'll have the inside into turn 2. He's still pretty far back. He has to be pretty aggressive on the brakes.
Cockcroft,
if he can contact there, I think.
Yeah. If he can stay side by side, though, Cockcroft will have the advantage going into turn 4.
They're still side by side. Through a little bit on the outside Derek Stack there. That's going to leave him vulnerable to Sully here, but Sully's going to be on the outside, which do not think he'll be able to do anything there. This all brought back Rene Oki and left a huge gap to Jess Osborne.
So
Jess definitely shed some weight from the train there.
Jess, a little bit of breathing room. The gap 1.5 seconds now to Pat Cockcroft. Stack, Sullivan, Aoki, Macumber, Wood still stacked right up against each other. Ooh, Macumber a bit deep into that right-hand hairpin there on the brakes, losing a position to Richie Wood, who inherits P14. Jason Yaron now threatening overtake. The view back now from Pat Cockcroft as we come into this final turn. Derek Stack attempting to get a good drive on the cutback. It looked like he was maybe held up a little bit on the apex there, not able to get the best drive out.
Still gaining on him. I mean, that's just Mustang things, maybe.
Again, just peeking up the inside. No.
Sully's relatively close. He's not going to be able to do anything right now, but
okay.
Just kind of reminding Stack that you know, you also have to watch out behind too, not just in front.
Got some love from Rowdy Burns in the chat. Good to see you. Sorry you're not feeling so well. Looking forward to seeing you hopefully coming back next season for us. Jay Queasy right up behind Chris Sweeney. This is an on-track battle for P17 and 18. Despite showing a 19th next to Queasy's name for some reason. Not sure what's up with that. We had... drama ahead.
Oh, McCumber.
See if we can get it on the replay. This is Noah McCumber and Richie Wood having perhaps a bit of a coming together into this first left-hand hairpin. Deep on the brakes goes McCumber, takes out Wood.
Really deep.
Jason Yaren then inheriting P14. As Wood and McCumber tumble down the screen. P19 and 20 for the pair of them. Jake Queasy P16. He got past... No, he didn't. No, he's still behind Sweeney. Okay.
It was just McCumber and Wood.
Yeah, so... Schmitzer... Looks like...
Flashing his lights, it looks.
Flashing his lights at Murphy. Did he lose a position? He lost a position to
He
Murphy
did, yeah.
somehow. Not sure how or why or when or what the heck would allow... Oh, wait. Okay, well that was for position, but Matt Schmitzer allowing Murphy ahead. What a gentlemanly move. Got some...
Yeah, I wonder if we missed some drama between them.
Yeah.
Or something.
So Derek Stack, I don't know how far back on a replay I would have to go. He lost. Did he lose?
It looks like
he was right behind Sullivan, but we didn't see it on the replay. He lost a position to Ren Aoki. Yeah.
While Sullivan was side by side with Pat Cockcroft there. So looks like I don't know if somebody
so it's still Cockcroft P10, Sullivan P11, Stack losing out to Aoki P13 now to Aoki's 12th. Yaren is still in the hunt, ready to pick up the pieces if any more drivers fail to keep it clean. Boonstra still right up on Movo. The gap ahead, P1 to P2, has come down. You can see it on your screen there. Sean Leach. The gap now only 1.5 seconds. Movo still with the best lap of the race. A 131.122. Sean Leach potentially losing a bit of pace. 10 minutes left in this race. You would hope, you would wonder if he can hang on side by side. Sullivan and Cockcroft.
On the outside. Wow.
Sullivan still, and now he's going to have the advantage going into the left-hander. Yeah. And finally, wait. Okay, no. Okay, so finally now, close. After 3 or 4 or 5 laps of intense battling, Sullivan now taking P10 away from Pat Cockcroft. The battle's not over. Side by side, Aoki and Stack. Yaren getting his nose in and putting off Stack a little bit. Everybody's still alive, though. We're keeping it clean. We're keeping it alive. Aoki right up behind Cockcroft. Ugh. Another tight on-track battle. This is Sweeney from Queasy from Murphy. Sweeney getting a bad exit out of that right-hand hairpin. Murphy right up behind Queasy. Both drivers going wide. That looks like a speed coupon used for both.
That was about as close as you could possibly be into a braking zone, I feel like.
Okay, so Look, so Jess Osborne, E9, that's 64 points.
I've done the math. It's still basically the same. Boonstra has to overtake Movo in order to clinch the team championship. If they don't,
Wow.
then the D5 misplacements. If Boonstra, she has to get by Movo or Leash.
Pablo Ferrer again. Looking to see what happened. That is out. So same spot on track. This is that left-hand kink that caught him out now into the braking zone of the left-hand hairpin. And just,
yeah, just getting a little bit sideways, it looks like, huh?
A little bit sideways. So he lost P5 to Adams, now under intense pressure from Sutherland, who just had enough of a drive that Pablo Ferrer kind of backs off and lets Sutherland through. Now Pablo Ferrer losing 2 positions on that lap from P5 to P7 for our at one time pole sitting, race leading TC8 Racing Team McLaren. You hate to see it.
Yeah, I think Ferrer just not wanting to give up too much of a fight there with Sutherland.
Yeah. So H and Movo still P1 and 2, 1.3 seconds the gap. Selena still looking aggressive as ever, needs to make this move on Movo. She's got 7 minutes to make it happen. Running out of opportunities, running out of braking zones where she can make this overtake. Probably every lap sizing up Amos Movo. Where does this car look strong? Where does the car look weak? Where can I potentially throw it up the inside and do a little bit of a block pass? Getting great drive.
Yeah, Movo getting a poor drive, going very defensive into the last turn.
If Selena can get a bit of a cutback here, not quite able to get the best of drives.
Movo immediately going defensive to try to throw off the slipstream, and yeah.
Compromises his own braking with that inside line.
Going defensive again.
Parks it on the apex. Boonstra unable to get that cut under.
Apex. That was a very slow to get back on throttle there. I mean, Movo, he's going through his head right now. He's probably not too worried about Jacob Hall. He's obviously not too worried about overtaking his teammate for the lead of the race. So his number one priority is just to keep Selena behind. That's all that matters to Movo right now, I think.
5 minutes and 40 seconds left in this race. Selena running out of opportunities. Movo, the gap ahead now, 2.2 seconds, so very slow through the first part of that lap. Under intense pressure, that Ferrari not looking perhaps as strong as it has been in previous races. I know the rear right tire specifically on this track is just constantly taking a beating. Borderline overheated. It's gotta be. Oh, whoa! Selena Boonstra
goes very
onto the brakes.
Terrifying.
That was a big mistake out of Boonstra, and it's going to cost her about a second. A little breathing room for Amos Movo. The gap now 1.1 seconds.
Yeah, that leaves Movo some time to breathe and maybe catch back up to his teammate a bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could already tell. I mean, he went way to the outside of the track limits there, and so he's going to be pushing, I think, for this lap.
So Pablo Ferrer still right up behind Sutherland. Battle for P6 and 7. Jack Sullivan, after getting past Pat Cockcroft, has caught up now to Jess Osborne. The gap, you see it on your screen, is about 0.6 of a second. So 4 minutes and 15 seconds. You got to imagine that's going to be 4 more laps remaining in this race, I would estimate. That's 4 opportunities for Jack Sullivan to potentially make this overtake on Osborne.
And I wonder how the drive-through situation is, I don't want to curse anybody, but Jack Sullivan already had a DT. So I mean, this is not only really good form from Jack, you know, to make it back up to P10, but he also might have a little bit more breathing room. You know, I can't imagine there's many drivers that aren't dealing with track limits. I mean, that's such a problem on this track.
Pablo
Something I
Ferrer.
do want to point out is Boonstra really is, you know, kind of still catching up to Movo. Movo did not get much of a gap there. I mean, he lost out a few tenths to Selena on that lap.
He also didn't catch up to his teammate at all during that time frame. In fact, he's fallen back a little bit more because it was 1.9 when Selena had her mistake, and it's 2 now. And that's not much of a difference, but, you know, it's saying Movo's tires, they might be gone. Of course, as I say that, it goes to 1.8, so it might just be a sector-by-sector difference.
I wonder if Movo's also on track cuts and, you know, a little afraid to push it too hard.
If he is, that could really throw a spanner in the works for the championship. There's only 2.5 minutes left to go, but if there's a late penalty for any driver in the top 3, that's game-changing.
Yeah, that's essentially
Absolutely.
GG.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be the first time we saw penalties happen this late into the race, and it's I mean, a track like this, like you said, track limits, massive thing.
It's way too easy to get track limits here, that's for sure.
Boonstra here on this lap has lost a bit of time. The gap ahead now 1 second, no longer within slipstream range of Amos Movo as they cross the line. 1 minute 50 seconds, so 2 laps remaining in this race. The previous lap for Amos Movo, last lap a 131.4, so he has turned the afterburners back on, going very fast. For reference, Sean Leach, his last lap was a 132.2. Boonstra's last lap was a 131.8. So Movo looking to put a little bit of distance between himself and Boonstra. This is the time to do it.
Yeah, only 1.5 laps left in this race. It's definitely the now or never to put those afterburners on.
Osborne and Sullivan.
Speaking of, yeah.
Sully got it done. See if we can get a quick replay. This is just down the main straight. Does he just... Oops. Wing
Sit
cam.
side by side.
With the immense overspeed,
Yeah.
Sullivan...
Mustang moment.
Mustang power. So that's P9 now for Sullivan, P10 for Osborne. I don't think that's going to play too much of a role in the team championship.
No, it's only a few points.
Yeah, the difference between P9
4
and P10
points.
is only 4 points. So it's still up to Selena then to make this overtake. If she can, then they would still get the team championship by 2 instead of 6. Pablo Ferrer still hanging out behind Sutherland. Osborne not giving up without a fight. The gap ahead is only 3/10, so you know, as the time ticks down to 0, this is now for our leaders the final lap of the race. But Jazz Osborne and Jack Sullivan, they'll get one more stab at it after this lap. But up ahead, Sean Leach, he just has to navigate this tricky Sector 2 one more time. The end is in sight. Sean Leach doing well to keep it steady. Selena Boonstra still right up behind Movo. But perhaps
last lap could be so...
We used one of her speed tokens earlier this lap, so
Yeah.
she's pushing. She's giving it everything, and she has to if she wants to win that team championship. You know, make it 2 for 2. But I gotta say, we're coming up to the
Movo
last
very
sector.
bumpy, very slow. This is the last opportunity, the final braking zone. Selena going well wide, going to attempt the cutback. Movo deep on the brakes, not going to have the greatest drive as we come down the final straight. Is it? It's Movo. It's
Movo. Oh my gosh.
500ths of a second.
Wow.
How close that was there. You could not write a better
unbelievable.
I'm not sure that it's over yet though, because we're still looking. If you remember that incident between Leash and Ferrer TC8, there is still a potentiality that this gets solved in the. I'm not sure really.
Right.
I couldn't see it very well from that angle, but I think that this is it. But you gotta watch out for that stewards report.
Yes.
Yeah,
because it could flip this on this head.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly. But for the meantime, with a P1 and P2 finish, D5 misplacement boys, Sean Leach and Amos Movo. What a beautiful race. Brilliant race. Leach, Movo, Boonstra, Hall, Adam Sutherland, Yaron in the top 10. You love to see it. Sully, Osborne, and Cockcroft rounding out your top 10.
One of the Yaron brothers in the top 10. Does this mean that we've finally stopped cursing them as commentators?
I try not to talk about him.
Hopefully. Yeah, that was almost as much point or as many points as possible out of Movo and Leach. 7 thousandths away from pole was Leach's time there, so that's definitely close. But yeah, I mean they pretty much maximized what they could do tonight, which is what they needed to do.
So as our drivers filter in to the post-race chat, I think we have to be looking for
Leach, which
for Leach.
He's here.
Yeah, he's in there.
There he is.
Yep, let me bring him up. So Sean Leach, what a race! How are you feeling right now?
Oh, sweaty.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I bet. So that we saw that a little bit of a contact between you and Pablo Ferrer. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah, I know. I had the inside line on him, and then I got the little voice in my ear going, "Clear on your right." So I went to move back on the racing line, and he pulled up just at that moment.
Well, it kind of looked like you guys had you kind of converged. I mean, it was from our angle, it was a really odd contact. So we're definitely curious about about that.
I'm gonna have to watch it back on the replay. We'll see.
Yeah, I think that one probably needs quite a few angles. But hey, I mean, superb race from both you and Movo. I mean, it's got to be feeling good about that race though, and also your qualifying lap. That time, I'm pretty sure you put in that fastest time on your first lap, right?
Yeah, that was the first after the outlap. Yeah.
Which that's pretty impressive. That was a really impressive lap. That first.
Yeah, and then the second time around, there was somebody coming out of the pits that threw me off my groove, and that was it.
Yeah.
So a potential then huge upset in the team championships. If this P1 and P2 holds, you and your teammate Amos Movo would be inheriting the team win. Do we think Amos Movo is available? I'd love to talk to these two guys at the same time.
He was in the chat. Yeah, I think he's available. He's in the race chat. Want me to pull him up?
Yeah, let's get him.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Amos Movo.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, we've got you in with your teammate Sean Leach. Quite the race between you two. Just wanted to get your thoughts on how that went.
Oh yeah, well, first of all, Pablo out of nowhere getting P1 on the pole, that's crazy. That put a little bit of stress in that whole situation. But GG to Sean also for qualifying P2. That's pretty dope. But then, yeah, the whole mindset was back Selena into Jacob Hall.
I knew it. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. So were you giving your teammates some room? Were you trying to hold up Selena?
So both kind of thing. You know, I wanted to give Sean some breathing room to not feel pressured, but also needed to. I really tried to back Selena in a way to Jacob Hall without being dangerous.
Right.
Maybe a couple close calls, but don't tell the stewards.
You know, I do have a question for both of you. During the race, were you guys aware of how important keeping Selena behind you, Movo, was?
I just figured it was important, so I'm like, at all costs, don't let her. First of all, don't let her pass, and second of all, try to get her overtaken. But yeah, I lost P2, or P3, whatever it was, early in the race. I was like, oh my god, Selena passed me, and then that was we had some questionable incidents, so I might have to watch that back. But she had a dive bomb in there somewhere. Like, whoa. Wait. But yeah, it was hope for the best, try to get Selena back into Jacob, but then it's just stressful doing that, so I'm like, I didn't want to do that all race.
Yeah. Well, currently we don't know how the penalty situation might work out, but currently I don't think you were here when we mentioned it. You and Leash have just clinched the team championships.
Oh my goodness.
Provisionally. We'll see how the penalties turn out. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I'm curious what happened. I saw an incident up front, and Pablo, I guess, go off. I'm like, whoa, my gosh, what happened? Did he turn into you? Did you turn into? I guess don't plead the fifth, whatever. But but yeah, I was like, oh, geez, don't let that be a penalty.
My lawyer has advised me not to say anything on the matter.
Did you repair in the pits, or?
No.
I
just did a regular pit stop. I overshot my marker just a tiny bit.
Geez,
I know. 2 races.
So that was though, because we were really looking at the pit stops, because we were also curious if Selena was going to be over or undercutting you, because that was, you know, with you having some traffic, and we were definitely keeping a close eye, and saw Selena close that gap to you, Leech, and that was definitely a bit of a we were like, man, you know, this is definitely spicing up. I mean, you guys kept it spicy the entire race for us.
Do we want to get Selena in here for the P3 podium, or is that too many people? I don't mind, but just to discuss. But it was very dynamic race.
Yeah,
it was an exciting race.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'd say we could send you guys back to race review and then grab Selena.
Yeah, and then you guys could also look at your guys' race, because I think there's going to be a lot to look over for you guys. But hey, I mean, huge congratulations on this race. Congratulations on the season, especially. I mean, this second half of the season for you guys has been insane. So yeah, huge congrats to your guys' and that turnaround.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, streaming, and yeah, it's been a pleasure racing in D3.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks,
Welcome to D2. We'll be racing against you next season.
Yeah.
Well, not me.
Well,
I hope they're not racing against me. That would be terrifying.
Never say never. All right, we'll get you guys sent back to the race review. Alrighty, so
so that was your P1 and P2 finishers, and provisional P1 in the team championship, the D5 misplacements, Leech and Movo. But if she's around, if she's available, Selena Boonstra.
She is around, and I'm assuming she's available. So let's pull her up. Selena Boonstra in the commentators booth. That was quite a spicy race between you and Movo.
What did I say? I was looking last week. I said I was looking forward to the showdown, and it was a showdown. Let me tell you.
That certainly was. Yeah. So yeah. I just wanted to get your thoughts on everything. I mean, there was so much happened with that, and you know, with a lot of battling with Movo, you know, trying to keep you as far away behind and as close to Jacob Paul as possible, but also that undercut almost working. And just what were your thoughts for that race?
Well, I was contemplating. There was one point in the race where I was contemplating. I'm like, kept going out, like staying out, and then I saw, oh, there is a train of blue flags. Oh no! But I was contemplating if I would have pitted before that, but I didn't. I missed it before I even made the decision. But I just kept going and then decided to pit a lap later, hoping that poor Movo would be in another situation of blue flags after I pitted. But unfortunately, he slithered his way through, and oh man, what a race!
Yeah, I think I'd said like at one point, like if I was Selena, I would be coming to the pits right now, which is right when you were coming into the pits, because Movo had those blue flags. Yeah, and we had our eyes peeled to the pit stops during that bit, because we saw you close the gap to Sean also in the pits, because Sean went in to the pits same lap, and so we were wondering, we found out Sean actually missed his box a little bit. So it was definitely, I mean, you kept it very entertaining for us, and a lot keeping an eye out on everything.
Oh man, yeah. There was a couple. I remember there was like a couple points where at the start of the race, trying to defend Amos behind me, I made a mistake, which I believe that resulted in him to perform an overtake on me. But then I made another mistake, I think the penultimate lap, and I just cooked the final corner, and I'm like, oh man, a whole second. Oh no, this is detrimental.
and then a photo finish.
Yeah.
On the very end.
That was, oh man, what a photo finish. That is one for the books for sure. And I think honestly that this must be, at least if not one of my most sweaty races. But that, honestly, looking back at it, that was just, I love racing. I really do. And these moments like this is just, you look back and it's like, God. It's just,
that's awesome.
It's like the amount of adrenaline you get out of it, and it's just like you keep going and you keep going, and it's just, oh man, moments like these, it's just awesome. Like the battles, like even to end it off like as a finale for season 13, it was a really good send off, and I'm very excited for season 14, which hopefully I'll be on the rig, which I will.
Yeah.
By then.
Soon, TM. Soon.
So we're putting down the controller, are you saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be hustling so hard during the off season. So.
Yeah, to try. Well, yeah, especially because you'll have to pull some strings to not get moved to D2 as well.
Yeah, for real though. Jess and I suffered 2 seasons in a row in D2. I have yet to win. Shockingly enough, like I haven't even won overall yet. I've won in class at least a few times, but I've never won overall, which is interesting. But if I can't do it on a controller, then I'm gonna be doing it on a rig. So.
Well, hey, I mean, this season was really quite good for you, though. I mean, all things considered, you got the individual drivers championship for sure, and a lot of podiums. So I mean
let's focus on that.
This was a good season.
So we do the drop race here. So that Suzuka race, it doesn't count. The last 7 races of the season, 7 podiums in 7 races. Selena, what the hell?
Good lord! I guess this is. Listen, I swear, if there was Nordschleife,
yes,
I'd be in heaven if this season had the Nordschleife. Yeah, see? We need it for season 14.
Has to be there.
I know. Yeah, we have like 3 of the 4 resident, like, or I guess 5. I can think of 5 resident Nords obsessees. We have 3 of the 5 in this
we gotta revolt.
Commentating booth. Yeah.
And there's me who's E6 and absolutely terrified of the Nordschleife.
Ah, you'll learn. You'll get there.
Yeah.
You gotta do lap.
You'll love it. You'll love it.
You'll learn to love it. Oh man, what a season though. It's just, I think after season 9 and having at least a few podiums, and I remember even Suzuka too. It wasn't the ideal race I had in mind, and got unfortunately involved in an incident which took me way back in the order. But I mean, it skyrocketed after that, and yeah, this season definitely by far is my best, and I'm hopefully looking forward to more.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, any final thoughts or shout outs or anything before I send you back to the race review?
Yeah, shout out to Jess for that top 10, the P10, solid finish.
Yeah.
Glad about that. And shout out to you guys, all the commentators and the admins for putting on the show, for making the team series, and even shout out to Multiclass Mayhem too, if anyone wants any multiclass shenanigans. And yeah, putting out an amazing league that we all can just mingle in and do what we do, racing.
Absolutely, and put on awesome races like that, because
yeah,
what a great race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome. But well, yeah. Anyway, well, a huge congrats on 7 podiums, consecutive podiums, and an awesome championship win. We'll look forward to your shoey.
Yeah, and I will say it'll be a shoey redemption, because the last shoey was me like literally halfway out of the frame.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I remember that.
This will be redemption.
Are you still gonna have the Porsche jacket though?
Yes, I had that in mind last week. I'm like, yep, I'm doing it. Porsche jacket is here to stay for another one, and maybe some secret things.
Okay.
Stay tuned to the
for the next
livery
shoey
reveal. Yeah, season 14. But
yeah.
All right, yeah, we'll get you sent back to that race review.
Alrighty.
Selena Boonstra, our individual champion. Yeah, I just can't believe 7 podiums in a row is definitely impressive. And yeah, if that's the last one on controller, then that would be a good season to end it off on.
Absolutely. So that was our overall points winner. We talked to our team winner, and so I'm looking here. So with Nitin Murthy and Jay Queasy finishing P16 and 15, that means Nitin Murthy is officially your silver championship winner. So he will be doing a shoey as well, like you guys mentioned. All of that is revealed during our season 14 livery and calendar and shoey and bready kind of party stream. It's a great time. It's over on the Twitch stream, so hopefully you guys are all tuning into that. I'm not sure what else on the agenda we have to cover, but man, that was one heck of a race.
That was a crazy race to end off a crazy season. Honestly, a D3. I mean, D3 always delivers, always entertaining, but that was really a fantastic season, and yeah, a wild last race, that's for sure.
Absolutely insane. I was thinking as we were getting to the closing parts of the final lap, and we were on board with Boonstra, there's no way she does this. It's just not gonna happen. And right as I was about to verbalize it, we saw Amos Movo just make that little mistake in the final sector, and Selena caught right up, and then he went deep into the final corner and photo finish. Right as I'm about to say, I think this is over now, and I think that's just kind of how the whole season has gone to an extent, you know? Right when you think things are about to go normal, all of a sudden, everything gets pushed aside, and it's just, oh my goodness, what's happening now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, and it's not over until it's over. And that was definitely proven tonight. So, yeah, absolutely awesome racing from Division 3.
And so, as we close out this final stream of this 13th season of the GT3 Team Series running. Gotta give special love to all of the viewers who have been with us the entire way. Got Ein Byron, Panzo Rigatoni. We got the whole Watts family who makes appearances in the chat from time to time. Special shout outs, of course, Grandma Colton.
Yeah.
Donovan, say thank you to your grandma for tuning in.
Yeah, huge thanks to Grandma Colton. she always likes the SRA stream, so it's awesome to I mean, I want to shout out I mean, you guys and all the commentators as well. I mean, I think it's great that we could stream these races and the stories that go on through these seasons. I mean, I think it's just great, and it's fun to be able to provide that. And yeah, it's a huge part for this family environment that we have with SRA.
I think there's only been a handful of races this season against all divisions that haven't been streamed. I can think of one D6 race where they weren't able to stream it, but that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know if you guys remember any others.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, this season we've definitely had more access to commentators, and and also a huge shout out to Jay Queasy for really stepping up and wrangling us all together and making us all organized and making our jobs easier. So yeah, huge shout out to Jay Queasy for all of that this season.
He's doing great work.
Yep, he's
makes our lives so much easier.
Him and ChatGPT are definitely putting in the hours, the countless hours. All right, so with that, thank you everybody. Thank you Donovan and Mac Morgan for hanging out with me. I've done solo races. It's not fun. I definitely love having you guys in the booth with me here. I am going to kick us to our stream ending scene, and we will see you all in season 14.